this is the end of the world.
Tonight I wanna spend it with you. Well, there is not a single thing that I would rather do than kiss you and tell you I love you, and watch as it goes up in flames. Well, take my hand, don't say goodbye, forever and always. If this is the end of the world, tonight I wanna spend it with you. Well, there is not.
Hi, my name's Will and welcome to the Distorted Transmission. Today I've got two guys from a band called Written by Wolves. How are you guys?
Good, dude. Thank you so much for having us.
Could you guys introduce yourselves and the other members of the band, please?
My name is Mikey. I am the vocalist for Written by Wolves.
My name is Karl. I play drums for Written by Wolves.
And also,
Well, you go for it.
take it away, Karl.
We got Beej, or Bahadur, as some people would know him. Probably mainly Beej, actually, who plays guitar. Davey, who plays guitar, and Oliver, or Ollie Lyons, who is our percussionist and electronic
Guy
musicianship.
slash doctor.
Yeah, slash doctor, slash everything else.
I think I met the Doctor last time. That was back in 2018, and I met Michael. That was right, wasn't it? It was
That's
you
right.
two.
Yeah, it was Ollie and I last time in
Right.
in that delightful garage of yours.
It's a great garage, man. It's still there.
It's a hell of a garage, man. I liked it. I had a good time.
You had about 1 million views on YouTube, and you were super happy about that. And now it's probably what? It's probably 10. Some of your videos have got 10 million views, right? 8 million views.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
no.
So what does it actually mean to a band in the real world though? Like it's all online numbers, it's all algorithms, but like what does it actually mean to a band in the real world, and what opportunities does that provide for you?
The music industry has changed. For us, this has been huge. It's our predominant fan base is overseas. So a third of our listeners are in the States, and the next third is the UK and Europe, and the next third's kind of everywhere else, with Australia kind of at the top of that. So, I mean, New Zealand's kind of not even in the top 5, which is sad, but it's kind of amazing. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to New Zealand. I love playing here. I love making music in this country, but it's a crazy world now, and digital has just opened it up. So our fan base can be on the other side of the world, and we haven't played a show there yet.
Having all the hotspots like the US, UK and Europe, those are definitely the sort of hottest spots to be popular in. I mean, I don't think any New Zealand bands really made it on the backs of the New Zealand, audience alone. It's just not possible because the numbers are too small.
I think it depends on the genre as well, though, right? Like the rock music genre in New Zealand hasn't. I mean, it's still good, but when you look at the likes of people like 660, who are amazing, who play that sort of music that the country listens to, or LAB, or Drake's Project, Mitch Jones, people like this who have obviously done very, very, very well in New Zealand and are selling out 50,000, 60,000 people at Eden Park in Western Springs. So I think it is the genre as well, obviously. I think what we play is maybe just, like I know that we're pretty big in Russia, so those crazy Russians obviously love that shit. It's just like kind of in the area and what countries listen to certain types of music. And I think the genre that we play is pretty hard to put like it's just rock, or it's, there's a bunch of different things going on in there. And I think there's different countries and different areas in the world which probably understand it more maybe, or appreciate it more. I don't know. It's funny though, but you look at the numbers and you kind of see where they are, and you see it.
I think like what you're saying there, Will, like you kind of did right. Like I suppose that comes down to a numbers game in the sense of population. Like, we write a certain type of music that not everyone's going to be into, and we'll be the first one to admit that.
Well, yeah, I think you guys have a very sort of approachable sound. Like, I quite often use my wife as a means to see what's marketable and what's sort of going to be popular. And I was checking out your latest track, the Forever and Always, just before the interview started. And yeah, she walks past and she goes, "Oh, is this the band you're going to interview?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She says, "Oh, I like them." So that's a really, really good indicator, because she pretty much hates everything I listen to. So you've definitely got a marketable sound, and of course your numbers show that as well. So yeah, when I was talking about New Zealand, I sort of did mean on the on the rock front, as Karl said, definitely right.
I mean, I'll just be the first to say that your wife has impeccable taste.
I won't tell her that. I'll never hear the end of it. All right, so the next thing I was going to talk about was, in fact, the video "Forever and Always." I only watched it maybe about half an hour ago, to be honest, but I really liked the way that the videographer used sort of dark and light as to sort of like show the separation between the two people in the video, and how there were scenes with sort of sand in the desert that was very dry, and then she was in the ocean, which was very wet, and so on and so forth. This kind of separation between the two characters, and I was wondering if you could sort of give me your take on the story and what you think that story represents to you.
This video has been in the works for probably about a year, and so it's the same director, Josh Maybe, who did To Tell You the Truth, which is the video you were referencing before, that's had 10 million views. And so we went back to, basically this song was super special to us, and it was one that we really wanted to sort of give that sort of same treatment to, the big cinematic storyline. And so Josh is our guy. He's kind of part of the team now, which is pretty incredible. If the world was ending, and if there was nothing else to worry about, everything was stripped away. Every worry, every sort of care that you had, every thought, every issue, every problem was gone because the world was about to end. They did not exist. Who is it that you do want to be with? Who is it that you want to be with? And the kind of idea was, when you put yourself in that position, we kind of felt like that's where your thought process would be at its most pure and honest, because there's nothing else to worry about. It's just, who do you want to be with?
Right.
And
being,
so that's
with the ones you love. Sure.
Yeah, and so that's where we kind of went with this video, like that struggle that you would go through to be with, if you had this kind of finite amount of time to be able to get to the person that you wanted to be with before everything finished, what would you do? And and then that's that kind of, they're going through these crazy situations to try and get to it, and doing everything they possibly can to get to each other.
It's a beautiful video. It's a beautiful song too.
Thank you, man.
So speaking of your music, I believe you've got an EP coming out. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that, or would Karl like to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we're releasing the collab project on the 17th of September, which is 5 tracks, I believe.
No.
Obviously 6.
Uh-oh.
No.
What?
It's 7.
7 tracks. There you go. Oh, sorry, I forget about the Lucky Stars bit at the end. All right, okay. Anyway.
That's in the middle. That's in the middle too, by the way.
So, Karl, can you tell me about the EP coming out?
Yeah. So it's coming out on the 17th of September. Got that part right. But yeah, I think this has been really, really, really exciting. Obviously, with reimagining the songs that we have released on the first album has been fun, because you can kind of go back to them and find parts that maybe you would like when you listen back to them on the album. You go, oh, it'd be kind of cool to change these parts or whatever. So it kind of gives you that option to get in there and change some of the bits of music which you potentially might have thought about after, which is cool. So, but then also bringing in the artists that are featuring on it as well has been pretty special. So I think it's some of the people that we've been able to bring on. I know Mikey's always said that it's some of the childhood heroes and people that he's been listening to for a long time, and I think it goes for all of us. Like, we've been listening to these guys, and it's pretty special to be able to just all of a sudden have them featuring on a track with us. So
since this band started, we were getting sent messages all the time about people saying sort of what our music had done to them, and how it had helped them get out. You pull them out of dark places, and in some cases they were even telling us that it had saved their lives. And we kind of basically got to a point where we released Secrets, and that album kind of became almost a concept album, I suppose, around sort of those sorts of stories that we were having with people, and my own mental health and those around me and that sort of thing. And so we kind of got to the point where we were like, right, well, how do we do more? Like, it's amazing that we're doing this, but it shouldn't be the case. So the song that it all kind of came from was called Lucky Stars. And there's a line in that says you shouldn't need a song to save your life. And we went, well, what can we do more? So we decided that we were going to start this mental health initiative. And so this is the first iteration of that. And so the whole idea behind it is basically reminding our fans and our followers that they don't have to go through these things alone, whatever it is that they're going through. and we want to kind of start this conversation through what we're doing and through music that kind of helps to kind of break down the stigma associated with mental health and helps to kind of normalize having these conversations and talking about these things. And so basically our idea was if we can reach out to people that are heroes of ours and they agree to do this kind of thing, then it's kind of like showing, well, you can talk to people too. Like this is something that's doable. So Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens straight away jumped on, and he was the first one to get on board. And then Trenton Woodley from Hands Like Houses straight away was like, yeah, I'm in. And he even started mixing the tracks and doing all sorts of things. So like he's been kind of become a part of the team. And then then we got Sonny Sandoval from POD. And when he kind of jumped on board, we were like, oh shit, we've kind of like, everyone's doing this now. Like this is pretty special.
Do you have any advice for sort of up and coming bands? At the moment, you're probably one of the few New Zealand bands that's sort of like holding the flame for international audiences, for YouTube success and things like that. And are there any sort of ways that you can help smaller bands achieve something similar?
I think the biggest thing that I could share in this current climate is have a plan. So it's not so much about like fighting to get that one single ready and ready to go, and that's amazing, and you should be able to celebrate that, but you kind of have to have 3 and the project ready. Like you kind of have to have the whole project ready to go, because if someone stumbles upon you, if the algorithm all of a sudden becomes in your favor and you have this one song that goes crazy, and someone, like if you think about when you go to find a band and you find them and there's only one song, you kind of and the next one takes a long time to come, you're gonna kind of give up. So you need that constant reminder, because we're all living with algorithms, whether we like it or not.
I guess a good analogy would be kind of like if you're playing chess, you don't just like move one piece and then see what happens. You have to think a couple of steps ahead and then sort of like have a goal to work towards. Is that right?
That was beautiful, mate. Thank you for tidying up my rant so eloquently and quickly.
Well, somebody has to. So what about you, Karl? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I think, like, when we started, our first show was at Rainbow's End, in front of about 2 people, and I think it might have been raining that night as well.
You'd already made it.
Yeah. We were lucky that we obviously did release a cover. We did a cover first, which was Sia, Unless I Can't. Jesus, forgetting my words now.
Do you know the order in which we released things, Karl?
Huh?
That
Well, no, I'm just saying we released that cover very early in our career, right? Which was, and that was the one that really did blow up pretty quick on YouTube, right? So that was the one that got in there, and that was early, like way early in our career when we just started. And we were just lucky at that point that we did that really, really well, and that it did blow up on YouTube, and that got a lot of views very quickly. And I think off the back of that, obviously from the social media side and YouTube and all that online stuff, we were lucky to be able to follow off the back of that with our own music. And I think I remember when we sat down and talked about that, when we did that cover and it blew up, and we were like, oh, it's probably good time to release some of our own music now to see what people think about it. And that's what we did. And we kept on going like that, and then it kind of just went from there.
So
but going back to that first show, right? Like everybody starts somewhere, and like as I said, our first show was at Rainbow's End, and you kind of slowly build from there, and you just got to keep going, keep practicing, stay together, be friendly with each other, keep writing, and do your thing.
That's actually a really, really, like you stumbled upon a good point there, Karl. That like keeping friendly with each other, man. Like
you hear all these bands that just. Yeah.
You're in it for the long haul, like whether you like it or not. Like you got to like the people, because the last thing you want is to be sharing a shitty motel room and fecking in Invercargill with someone that you don't like.
Yeah. And if you've got to make a decision, just to make sure you got at least 3 people on your side, especially if there's 5 of you in a band.
Yeah, actually, never have 4 in a band. Have 5. Make sure there's a kingmaker.
That is a really good way to sort of like attract a large audience very quickly, is to do somebody else's more famous song and then like do it well, do your interpretation of it. What are some of the steps you need to actually undertake to do that legally? Because I mean, surely there would be legal pitfalls, right?
So basically, through whatever company you're using to distribute your music, you should be able to talk with them about whatever sort of licensing agencies that they might work with. So with the particular one that we released that song with was via TuneCore, and TuneCore have got a licensing system. But if you've got any questions, either talk to who you're using as a distributor, or just talk to APRA, because they are always there to help, and they'll help you with it with clean anything up.
It's time to sign off. So any last remarks?
Thank you so much to everyone that supported us so far, and thank you to everyone that has jumped on and helped us with the collab project, because I think it's something pretty special that we're very proud of, and I am very, very excited about all of you hearing it on September the 17th.
Awesome. Well, Mike, Karl, thanks very much for chatting to me today, and all the best with the EP release.
Awesome, thanks, Dave.
And thanks everyone who's been watching this interview as well. Hope you're looking after yourself in this COVID environment. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.
Right on.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
See ya.